Dean. First of all, I want to thank Bill Cassidy for all his hard work, Lindsey Graham selling the program, Rick Santorum, and Dean Heller, just in terms of their effort of really doing what Senator Graham said is our last chance of repealing what I think has been a law that has done a lot of harm to a lot of Americans. It's done some good, but it's also done a lot of harm. Lindsey said I was going to mention some numbers. I don't want to disappoint. He was talking about $650 billion spent on Medicaid in the next 10 years. Do you realize only 9 years ago we were spending $200 billion? This year we'll spend about $400 billion. Again, 10 years in the future, $650. Clearly unsustainable. Now, from my standpoint, I represent the state of Wisconsin. We didn't need Obamacare. According to the Wisconsin Department of Health Services in their family health survey, prior to Obamacare, 94% of Wisconsinites had health coverage all or part of the year. Under Obamacare, now it's up to 96%. So, okay, I'll concede the fact that 212 Wisconsinites now have coverage because of Obamacare, but over 100,000 Wisconsinites are choosing to pay the penalty. 82% of those make less than $50,000 a year. And like has been the average premium increase in America, throughout America, according to HHS, Wisconsin's premiums have by and large doubled because of the artificial nature, the faulty architecture of Obamacare. In many cases, premiums have tripled. And one thing I appreciate about President Bill Clinton, when he was talking about Obamacare, this craziest thing in the world, he was talking about the forgotten men and women. People that are out there busting it, sometimes working 60 hours a week. Their premiums have doubled. I will say sometimes tripled or more. Their coverage cut in half. They can't afford Obamacare. And that's simply the truth. And what I love about this plan is those forgotten men and women, people like Vern and Sherry Colby, who wrote to me saying they literally had to cash in their 401k, sell their house because they had to pay back the subsidies they got under Obamacare because they made close to $60,000 a week. A year, sorry. $60,000 a year. And they had to pay back and they had to cash in their 401k and basically lose their house. Those are the forgotten men and women of Obamacare that are forgotten by bureaucrats here in Washington, D.C. Those men and women won't be forgotten by governors and by state legislators because government close to the governed is going to be far more responsive. What Graham-Cassidy-Heller-Johnson does is it returns that power to the states. It makes states more responsible, more responsive. And so hopefully those premiums will come down because states will be granted more flexibility. And, of course, it's just going to be a whole lot fairer. Now, in Wisconsin, as proof positive of this, Wisconsin, because of the leadership of Governor Walker and our state legislature, we're the only state that closed the coverage gap, that denied coverage, any subsidies for people that are working poor below 100% of the poverty level. That was good work. That was good flexibility, but we got no credit for it under Obamacare. Under Graham-Cassidy-Heller-Johnson, it'll be a whole lot fairer process, and states like Wisconsin doing right by their constituents will be granted the funding for that. This is a far fairer process. So let me conclude by pointing out what Senator Graham also said. For my Republican colleagues, that this isn't quite good enough. It doesn't do enough of a repeal. This is our last shot. I come from a manufacturing background. I will never let perfect be the enemy of the good. I'm into continuous improvement. Graham-Cassidy-Heller-Johnson is a vast improvement. Not perfect. We've still got a ways to go. There will still be fixes we've got to initiate. But this is far better than Obamacare that literally is leaving behind those forgotten men and women like Sherry and Vern Colby. We can't forget those people. Graham-Cassidy-Heller-Johnson won't. And again, I just want to commend all my colleagues. I want to commend Governor Walker for showing great leadership, rounding up the governors that hopefully they can have a pretty good show of support next week. So with that, I'll turn you over to Rick Santorum.